So what we do is we're one of the largest healthcare agencies in the UK. So we specialize in doctors, nurses, psychiatrists, social care, anything. Today we're only here to recruit nurses because that's what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a bit more about what we do. In terms of relocating to the UK. So talk about NMC. Do you guys know what NMC is? It's like el colegiado here in Spain. So for you guys to be enrolled in nursing here, you need to have the colegiado. Is the same thing. Talk about NHS, what they're looking for, the structure, the salaries, very important. Specialities. So depending what specialty you guys are on, we can place you in different hospitals in NHS. Training as well. All the training you guys will have during obviously your stay in the UK. So they offer you every training, even if you have training in Spain. If you go to the UK, same thing will happen. They'll just won't put you in a department and leave you there. So register with HCL with us. How obviously what you can do and how we can help you, and what we'll do for you. We offer you all the help you need. Why you should register with us and not with another agency, and what we have right now, current opportunities. All right. So let's start with the NMC. So NMC, like I said, is colegiado. It's just like it's the British professional for el colegiado. So registration is mandatory. If you're not registered with the NMC, you won't be able to work as a nurse. The reason being is because obviously when you send your papers to el colegiado, they need to see if you have any, obviously if you have a degree, if you have any references from your teachers, from doctors. If you have any criminal records, because obviously you're working with patients, so if you have any criminal records, you won't be able to register. It takes about 2 to 3 months, depending. Obviously, if you send all the papers to the correct papers to the NMC, they will, it'll be fast, because sometimes you send them one paper and then they contact you saying, obviously, there's one paper missing, but it won't take less than 3 months. And obviously we can help you with that. We can call on your behalf, because I know sometimes you call in, they don't really, you don't know the right questions to ask. And obviously we've been dealing with them for many years, so we know exactly what to ask. Also, if you start today, then it's the easiest, because don't wait until you actually go for an interview and then you start. Because if your interview, for example, is in a month's time, don't wait after the interview. Start now. It's good that when, because we get contacted a lot, because we're known in the industry, so we get contacted a lot. And when nurses come to us, they sometimes they don't have the NMC, and it might take longer for them to start because they want to start straight away. So if you register now, it'll be simple. So as soon as you get offered a job, you don't have to wait the 3 months to go to the UK. You can simply just start. Okay, and obviously, if you're a nurse, you want to work as a nurse. So if you don't have the NMC, you can only work as a healthcare assistant. So that means you won't be working on your band, and I'll explain what band means in a while. Okay, so that's the NMC. Okay, NHS is the national health service in the UK. Okay, that's why especially Spanish nurses, they only want to work with NHS. The reason being because there's loads of hospitals you can work for. If you're working for one hospital for two years, maybe on a change, go to another city, you can do that. As you can see, there's more than 2,300 hospitals. For example, I can tell you that. In every city you go, you find at least 5-6 big hospitals and known hospitals with the specialty you're looking for. So you're only going to be doing exactly what you want to do. 350,000 nurses were employed by the NHS by 2013, and that's loads. And I can tell you that within those 350,000, there's at least, I would say, 50,000 were Spanish. I mean, I work with Spanish nurses, and I learned Spanish just by talking with nurses, and it's really good because I can tell exactly what you guys are looking for, because when you call me, you tell me, okay, I want to work. For example, I'm a pediatric nurse. I want to work in Manchester or in London. I have 2 years experience, so we can allocate you exactly where you want to be. And the number of EU nurses employed by the NHS increased by 50% in 2013. NHS, they call us all the time because they're looking for nurses. And one good thing is that they usually mention Spanish nurses. Obviously, the EU can be any nurse, but they usually mention Spanish nurses specifically because you guys have one of the best formations in training. So when you go to the UK, you already done loads of things. No matter if you have no experience, but you did at university, you work in different departments, so it's really good. So they already know you guys are prepared. More than any other nurse. For example, choosing a French nurse, they're a bit more slow, but you guys can do things, and that's why you always upgrade. So you can start within six months, 1 year, and go all the way to another band and earn more money and more experience as well. And there's about 45% of NHS hospitals recruiting nurses abroad. So they come into, that's why we're here, because we work together, NHS and us, and we have, especially with loads of hospitals, I can tell you more than 10, 20 hospitals working with us at the moment, and they send us here to obviously to recruit nurses. And the reason we're not in other countries and we're here is because we're looking for nurses just like you guys. Okay. Okay, let me talk about structure and salaries because that's what you guys want to know. How it works is, so the NHS is defined in bands. So you start as a band 5. Band 5 means, because, okay, let me talk about band 5 first. It means if you're graduating from university or you're newly qualified, you start as a band 5 because you're a nurse. And and the salaries start from 21,478 all the way to 27,901. So that's a lot of money. You can be earning, let's say you just graduated from university yesterday, you go for an interview, you get offered a job, you can be earning between 21,000 to 27,000, which is roughly, in euros, is about 2,010, 2,200 after tax, which is really good. And depending on your experience, they pay you. So for example, if you have no experience, they pay you you start from 21,478. But it depends, because some hospitals, depending, you might have no experience, but let's say your interview is really good, your English is really good, you answered all the questions. So what they do is they offer you a bit more, just a bit of incentive. But if you have, for example, experience, you have about 2, 3, 4 years experience, 5 years, you can go all the way to 27,000. And that depends in London. For example, if you're in London, you're already earning 10% or 20% on top of your salary. So what usually happens is, if you have, let's say they give you 26,000 pounds after your interview, with 20%, that can go up to 33,000, and that's your salary because you're in London, and obviously the cost of living in London is bigger. So that's really good. But obviously, that's what I told you. If you don't have your NMC, you start as a band 4 until you do. So you'll be earning from 18,000 because that's when healthcare assistants, that's how much they get paid. and you don't want to get because you don't want to get paid as healthcare assistants because you guys are nurses and you want to work as a nurse, okay? So that's how important the NMC is, all right? I can tell you guys is that the hospitals in the UK, they don't really care how much. Obviously, they'll pay you as long as you're good and you do the job. They pay you. I mean, I've worked with nurses, especially Spanish nurse. I can give an example. This Spanish nurse, she's a pediatric nurse, and she had about 5-6 years experience in Spain as a pediatric nurse. She went to London, one of the biggest trusts there, and after 6 months, obviously she was band 5. After 6 months, she got fast-tracked into band 6. So that's 6 months, guys. That's nothing. There's nurses working for 4 or 5 years in the UK with UK experience that went to UK university that didn't obviously get offered that much. So she's really young. She's about 27, 28 years old. So, and she's already working as a band 6. And obviously, I don't even want to tell you how much money it is because if it's 27,000, band 6 will start from 28,000. And if she's in London, that means she'll earn about 34, 35k, which is in euros about 3,000 euros. And you know, that's just with no shifts. So the more you do, the more shifts you do, you can take a lot of money at the end of the month. And the hospitals, they really want you guys to work extra shifts. And you know, they pay you as much, obviously, they can pay you because, you know, if you're good, you're doing the job, then why not? All right? Okay. Okay, so what we do is we specialize in recruiting nurses. So we know everything about nurses. I'm not a nurse myself, but it's like when I talk on the phone to nurses, they ask me if I'm a nurse because I know the specialties. I know obviously what pediatric nurse does, orthopedic nurse, you know, oncology, ENT, everything. So when we're talking to you guys, we know exactly what you're looking for. So if you tell me you want to work, you do hemodialysis and you want to work in a hospital that does exactly, I know exactly where to place you. And we have positions in all specialties. So remember when I was talking to you, you told me you are you do pediatric nurse, you pediatric nurse, specialized. So by just talking to you for about 2-3 minutes, I know exactly where you would be suited for. Obviously, we give you the information, we send you the information, you read it, and then you tell me if you want to go for an interview. And then we'll prepare you for the interview. We'll tell you exactly what you need to know, the questions they usually ask, obviously how you need to be dressed and how you need to approach them. So we'll train you. And obviously when you go into the interview, you're confident. And that's what they like. They offer a preceptorship program. Does anyone know what a preceptorship program is? It's a program when you go into, because they know you work in Spain or Portugal or Romania, so they know that you might have a little specialty, for example, pediatric specialty, but they want to offer you the opportunity to learn about other specialties. Okay, so what you do is you go around the different departments, different wards in a hospital. So you can work as intensive care, emergency, pediatric, orthopedic, and then for about 6 months, you know exactly where you want to go because you learn, for example, 1 month or 2 months. Oh, okay, I'm a pediatric nurse, but I don't want to do that anymore. Now I want to go and work as a emergency nurse. So they offer you that training. So it's really good because not every hospital does that. But we make sure the hospitals we work with obviously offer preceptorships program because it's really good for the nurses to learn about different specialities. All right? And obviously that's rotation schemes as well. You go around the hospitals, different departments, because not every hospital does that. If you're a pediatric nurse, you're a pediatric nurse. You're not going to have any more training in other specialities. But we make sure the hospitals we work with offer that kind of training because it's very good. It's very good for the nurses. All right? So what do you need to register with in the UK and with ACL? We don't ask for too much. ID documents, you know, passport. I know Spanish, you have the little ID that's fine. Your CV translated in English, but that's normal because every CV we receive, is usually in English anyway, so it's fine. If it's not in English, we ask you to translate it. But what usually happens is, within the company, there's people that speak different languages, because we specialize in that. We just don't speak English. We speak Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, Italian, Polish. So we'll be able to translate it straight away. PRN, or proof of NMC. So PRN is when you send your documents to the NMC. They send you this long number, and that number is the number that you have until you get your NMC pin, and then they give you another number. So if I call the NMC on your behalf, I can give them your PRN number, and they'll be able to tell me how obviously your process, how fast it is, and what you need, if there's any documents that you need. All right. Supply 3 references. So references about if you worked in a hospital, of your chief nurse, senior nurse, or a doctor that worked with you. If you're newly qualified, you never worked in a hospital, don't worry. You can give us references of your teachers, of your professors, university professors. If you never, obviously, if you don't know anyone that will give you that, anywhere that you worked for at least 3 years. That's usually easy, because I'll say 85% give us references of chief nurses that worked with you. Okay? A low motivational statement. Okay, that's very important, especially if you come into the UK. Why do you want to come to the UK? And not just salaries, not just money. Because sometimes you say, I just want more money. And obviously they know you want more money. Oops. Okay. All right. Nothing happened there. Okay. Why do you want to come to the UK? For example, if you go into to a hospital, why do you want to work for that hospital? But obviously you need to do your research as well. We send you information about the hospital. Why do you want to work in London, for example? So things about yourself. What motivates you? Why do you like to be a nurse? Why are you a pediatric nurse and not an orthopedic nurse, for example? So things like that. It doesn't have to be too big. Just a few paragraphs. That's enough. Obviously your degree. That's very important. And obviously speak English. All right. And for you guys to be interviewed, it has to start for at least B2, B1, B2. But what usually happens is sometimes there's, and I see that a lot with Spanish nurses. You have good English, but you're just not confident in speaking. And because you speak Spanish all the time, you think your English needs to be exactly like your Spanish. My Spanish is not like my English. But obviously, if I have to speak it, I'll speak it. If I have to go for an interview in Spanish, I'll go for an interview in Spanish. So you just have to be confident, because they know it's not your first language. They know you don't speak every day. In a hospitals, if you work in a hospitals, you don't speak in English. You speak in Spanish. So just be confident, because for example, if you have B1, B2, that's sufficient to go for an interview. And the nurses that interview, they're usually very nice. They're very calm. They explain everything about a hospital, even the questions, very slowly, because they know the process, and they've been doing it for many years. All right. Okay. So what we'll do with you when we're on the phone, and when you call, for example, you send me your CV, and I call you. We discuss the locations and vacancies we have for you. So, for example, I'll ask you, where do you want to go? And what usually, especially Spanish nurses, they don't like London. They tell me, I don't want London. I want somewhere, for example, near the sea. Thank you. Where there's a beach, for example. And many say, in England there's no beach. That's a lie. There's beaches there. Very nice. Yeah, so if you tell me, for example, I want a hospital next to the beach. We have a hospital next to the beach. In fact, we have a hospital called Pool. if you want to, me and my colleague will tell you a bit more about the hospital, is right in front of the beach. So if you sit in a hospital, is located right in front of the beach. So it's about 5-minute walk, 10 minutes to the beach. It was really nice, and Spanish nurses a lot. So yeah, so if you tell me that I already know where you want to go. Mark, that you two agree trusts. So that means, so if you tell us, okay, well, I want to go for this hospital. So you can book your interview, but before, obviously, you need to know the time. For example, some interviews are face to face because the hospital they want to see you. But other interviews are via Skype, for example. So what the hospital does is usually, because they know sometimes you don't want to pay about 200, 300 euros to go to the UK just for one interview, and you might get a job and you might not get a job, and if you don't get a job, you spend that 300 pounds. So they offer you Skype interview, okay, or telephone interview and then Skype, and then obviously after you get a job, you can come, but you already got a job, so you have nothing to lose. You can come and have a look at the hospital. They take you around the hospital, give you a tour around the hospital, which is really good. We support with your travel arrangements as well. So we help you find obviously the best costs in terms of obviously which airport is closer to the hospital. Sometimes what usually nurses do, because you're talking with us on the phone and you already know us, you like to come to the office and kind of obviously get to know us a bit better before you go for your interview. And then we can do the interview there, have a little coffee, go out for lunch. So we'll give you that as well. Prepare you for the interview. That's very important, okay? Because when we prepare you for the interview, we'll be on the phones, or in this case, face to face if you come to the UK, for about 40 minutes, sometimes an hour, preparing you for the interview. So we'll tell you exactly what they'll be asking you. Obviously we go through a list of questions. Obviously they're not going to ask you, for example, 25 questions, but they might ask you 5 questions. And within those 25, the question they will ask you might be there. You might have loads of questions, but we'll prepare you for the interview. So when you book your interview, we're not just going to let you go. We'll prepare you 100%. So after that, obviously after the interview, you feel more prepared and obviously more at ease. Okay. Coordinate your job offer and start date. So after you go to the interview, you get a job and you're all happy. You call them very happy, smiling and stuff. We'll help you, tell you exactly. We'll send you the job offer and the contract. So you have a look. Obviously, discuss with your partners, with your families. Okay, this is what I want. And then you sign it, send it back to us. We send it to the hospital, and then the hospital will give you a start date. So, and they don't give you straight away, because they don't want you to start. Let's say your interviews today, they don't want you to start in a week, because you have to prepare. If you have a house here, maybe you want to sell your house, or maybe you have your notice period that you need to give to your hospital, usually 2 months. So they know that. So for example, let's say you go for an interview in December. You can start in February or March. So that's absolutely fine. Okay? And even though it's 3 months, sometimes the question that you always ask is, do I still have the job? You still have the job. All right? So don't worry about that. It's just that they know the process is long and that you don't have to start straight away. You can take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Maybe you want to start straight away. Because I've worked with nurses that, they got offered a job and they have the NMC, they want to start straight away. And then they book their flight, they come to the UK and they start next week. So that's, that you can do that as well. All right? And it's completely up to you. But before you start, there's always the documents you need, okay? So we need, like I said, the references, and we offer you, we tell you exactly what you need to send us, okay? And for example, if you have referees, people that we need to contact, we call them. We tell them, for example, this person that worked with you said that you could give a reference. So you can you please obviously do the reference and email it back to us, because sometimes we know that you work, even though you got a job offer, but you're still working and you might not have time. So we offer you that because we got people working on that department as well. Okay. We obviously we do the nursing part in terms of preparing for the interview and stuff, but we got people that that's their job. All right. Okay. Why register with HCL? Okay. Our service is free. Okay. We don't charge anything. All right. So if when you contact us and we help you and you get a job, sometimes there's nurses saying, okay, how much do I owe you? You don't owe us anything, okay? So if you go to any recruitment agency that you have to give them money to help you find a job, you gotta think twice, okay? Because there's many nurses that go tricked into that, okay? So what they do is they take your money, they get you the job, but you don't have to pay them anything, okay? So make sure, if they tell you, for example, they're charging you, I've heard nurses that got charged 500 euros, 1,000 euros to find them a job. It shouldn't be like that, okay? So we don't charge you anything. Everything is for free, okay? We have more than 10 years of excellence working with NHS, okay? We worked with hundreds, thousands of nurses, okay? And there's not even one nurse that say we didn't help them and that we didn't give them what they're looking for, okay? So if you go online, you probably heard of HCL because we've been doing it for so long and we know exactly what you need. Okay, we have dedicated bilingual consultants. All right, we have for example, I speak Spanish and Portuguese. Okay, there's my colleague out there. She speaks Spanish and Polish. I have colleagues that speak Romanian, Italian. So we speak languages. So sometimes I know you speak English, but sometimes you want to communicate faster and obviously you want to speak your language. It's absolutely fine. We can, for example, even though you need to practice your English, we can speak in your language just so you feel more comfortable. Okay? But yeah, we actually take a lot of emphasis on this. Okay? It's very good that we speak languages because we can relate to you. Okay? Extensive knowledge about trusts. We know exactly what the trusts do, where they're located, exactly what specialties they need, everything about it. Not just the hospital, but the city that the hospital is located in, okay? So that's very important as well, because as soon as you tell me, okay, I want to go to a trust in London, and then, for example, you are a oncology nurse, okay, I know exactly what this hospital does, and they're looking for oncology nurses. So I'll be able to tell you exactly about that hospital, okay? So ability to prepare you fully for the interview, that's why you should register with us, because we just don't give you the job. We just don't, okay, you call us, because I know there's recruitment agencies out there that are just booking for an interview and they send you. And you might not get a job, not because you're not a good nurse, because you are a good nurse, but because you're not prepared. Because bear in mind that English is not your first language, you never went to an interview in the UK, so you don't know how the culture, you don't know what they're looking for, and maybe things that you might say in a hospital here in Spain, you don't say in the UK. So we'll help you, okay? We tell exactly what the hospital is looking for, the questions, like I mentioned before. So when we send you for an interview, you are always 110% prepared. I can guarantee you that, okay? And it won't just stop there. So when you go for the interview, okay, you got a job, we offer you the aftercare support, okay? So we take care of you. We tell you exactly what to do. Okay, now you got a job, now you got your salary. Now let's look at the documents you need, okay? After you start, this is what's gonna happen. And even after you get a job, we still maintain contact, because maybe you work there for 6 months or 1 year, 2 years, and you wanna go for another hospital, another city. Not because you don't like it, but because, like I mentioned to you earlier, you want something else. If you're, for example, working in a small city, now you want to work in a big city. So you want to go to Birmingham, Manchester, London, and then we'll be able, because we maintain in contact, I can, okay, well now you've been there for 1 year, 2 years, I'm going to put you in another hospital. Okay? So yeah, large existing base of partner trusts with a huge choice of posts. So you tell us exactly where you want to go, and then that's where you're going to put you. Because I'm not going to take you from your country to put you in the UK and working in a different specialty, doing something you don't like to do. Okay, we don't do that. So if you go to an interview, you're going to go for an interview with whatever you want to do. Okay? So you said you're a pediatric nurse. If you're going to go for a hospital that wants pediatric nurses in London, that's exactly what you want to do. So you're happy. Okay? And to be honest, so far, I've placed many Spanish nurses, and no one has ever called me saying, I want to leave. Okay? If they do call, it's because they want to go to another hospital, because they don't want to live in a big city or in a small city. But usually with the salary and professional, obviously development that you have, I guarantee you don't want to come back to Spain. Okay. The current opportunities we have. Okay, we have more than 400 vacancies. So, for example, if you all go for an interview today, you all can get a job. If you pass the interview, you all can get a job. Okay. You're not in competition with anyone, because if there's 50 of you go for an interview and everyone is good, then you get a job. Okay. Because the hospitals are huge. I can tell you how much a hospital, for example, in the UK makes. I mean, we work with a hospital that their turnover is about 160 million a year. I mean, that's sometimes more than I know there's more than the Portuguese government earns. So that's a lot of money. So obviously in terms of salaries and specialities, they have loads. Okay? These are some of the specialities we have: surgical, including orthopedic, oncology, ENT, anything. Elderly care as well, because we also work with nursing homes, Casa de Reposo. So you can go, if you want to work with elderly care, you can work with elderly care as well. Intensive care unit and pediatric intensive care units. Okay, and we also have pediatrics. So if you don't want to work in intensive care unit, but you work in pediatric, you can go for it as well. Neonatal, cardiology, and theatres. And these are some of the areas that we are recruiting now, some of the hospitals. Okay, so London, Essex, Hertfordshire, you're going to take a picture, Spanish. Norfolk, that's in Norwich. It's a huge city as well. It's about 480,000 people, and it's one of the best NHS hospitals in the UK. Okay, and they specialize in elderly, medical, surgical, intensive care units, and theatres. But they have all these specialities, but these are some of the specialities that they win awards for. Okay, so they win a lot of premios, and they're very, very good, very good. And we just worked with them, and they recruited about 27 nurses. I think 30 went for the interview, and 27 got a job. So the 3 that didn't get it is because of English, and because they were nervous. Not because they didn't speak anything, but because they were nervous. But what the hospital said is that they'll re-interview you in about 2-3 months, okay? And that's good, because just because they said no now, don't mean is no forever, okay? Because they want to offer you the opportunity, okay? Wye Valley as well is located in a very calm area. I think it's like working in Murcia, okay? So that's how Wye Valley looks like. Northampton as well, big cities. Dorset, Hampshire as well, very good hospitals. And Royal Surrey, which is also it's about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It's in Guildford. It's in about 25 minutes from London. So you still get a 10%. Because it's 25 minutes from London, so it's still in that location within, obviously, that you can get from 5, 10, 20%. So for example, if you go for Royal Surrey, you can earn the 10% on top of your basic salary. You won't earn the 20% because it's not in London, but you still earn 10%. For example, if you go for these others, you won't earn anything, just your salary, but obviously the living costs is very different. So it's very, very cheap. For example, I can tell you, in Norfolk, for example, in London, if you want a 2-bedroom house, because I live in London, and it's very expensive. Oh yeah, very expensive. So for example, a 2-bedroom house will be about 1,200, 1,300, and that's like the cheapest. In Norfolk, and that's a 2-bedroom house. In Norfolk, I know because this nurse that went for the interview got a job. She's paying £585 for a 3-bedroom house. So the difference is huge. It's very, very big. So, and that's just obviously not just with nursing, it's just how it is. So London obviously is very expensive, even though you still get the 20% on top of your salary. But for example, if you go to Norfolk, you know, you're not earning the 20%, you're still earning good salary, good money, but it's cheap. It's cheap. And one good thing as well about the UK that it's not here is that the opportunities are there. You know, if you want, they help you, okay? And we're not just talking about nursing, but in this case, nursing, they like Spanish nurses. They like Spanish nurses, and you like the UK. I think you love the UK because even though you're here and you got the sun and everything, I like it as well when I come here. But the opportunity is there. You know, you in terms of profession, you can develop yourselves, because sometimes, you know, I work with nurses with 20 years experience earning 1,000 euros. I mean, that's really bad. That's really bad. And in the UK, if you have a nurse with 20 years experience, that's a lot. You know, you're a matron. Matron don't even do the nursing work. They do the paperwork and all the stuff because they have a lot of experience, okay? And your salary is very, 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 very big, okay? Yeah, so these are the opportunities we have here, okay? Any questions? No? Very well. One question now? You can ask me one question. No? You can ask me Spanish as well. Anything in Spanish? Anything, yeah, in Spanish. Yeah. No? All right. Well, that's it then. If you want to register with us, we're right there, just behind the door. And then we can give you more information as well. My colleague is there; she'll be able to help you. All right, guys. But that's it from me. Thank you very much. Thank you.